Alright guys, we're going to take a look at a few problems from your homework for tonight, just to hopefully make sure everyone's on the same page. First one I want to take a look at is number 8. So we've actually got to find two different angles here. We'll start with finding y. That one's probably going to be the easiest one. If you notice here, this straight line means that y and 80 degrees are supplementary, which means they have to add up to 180. So we start with our one-step equation, 80 plus y equals 180. Subtract 80 from both sides and we end up with y is 100 degrees. Okay, that one's pretty straightforward. That was actually from yesterday. The tricky part now is using these two to find out what angle x is. Okay. So we do know that these two are vertical angles, which means that they're going to be equal in measurement. So what that means is we set 80 equal to 2/5 x. Okay, again, we set these equal to each other because they're vertical angles. To get rid of this 2/5, we multiply both sides by the reciprocal, which is going to be 5/2. So that's going to cancel out here, leaving me just with an x on that side. We can do a little cross-reducing, and we end up with x is equal to 200. Okay, but that's not actually our final answer. We got to put that back into here. So 2/5 times 200. We do 400 on top divided by 5 is going to get me exactly what we expected, 80 degrees. Okay, that's how we would set up number 8. On the back side, taking a look at number 12. So the directions say angles 1 and 2 are complementary angles, which means when we add them up they have to equal 90 degrees. So let's take a look at 12 here. This says the measure of angle 1 is x plus 10. The measure of angle 2 is x plus 18. So we could sketch these if we wanted to. I don't think that's really necessary. So we're going to take x plus 10. We're going to add it to x plus 18. And together, those two angles should be 90 degrees because in the directions it says they are complementary. Okay, we're going to combine like terms here. X plus x is 2x. 10 plus 18 is 28. Okay. And then we've got a two-step equation to solve here. 2x plus 28 equals 90. I'll bring that over here so I don't run out of room. First step is to subtract by 28. That's going to give me 2x is equal to 62. Divide both sides by 2, and we get x is equal to 31. Okay. Now that's not the last step. It does ask to find the angles, so we have to put a 31 back in here for x and back in here for x. Okay, so this one's going to be 31 plus 10 or 41 degrees. This one's going to be 31 plus 18 or 49 degrees. Okay. And as expected, just to double check, when we add those two together, they should be 90 degrees. Okay. The last one to take a look at, let's do number 14. So the directions here say they are supplementary, which means whatever we have is going to equal 180. So we've got two angles here. We're going to have some negative values. 160 minus x plus 170 minus x has to equal 180. Now we can do this a bunch of different ways. I will stick with my negative variables here, even though that can be a little bit tricky. We are going to combine like terms here. So 160 and 170 is 330. A negative x plus another negative x is plus negative 2x. Okay, so that gives us a two-step equation here. again, we do have some negative variables. We have been working with those long enough, so it shouldn't be a huge deal. I'm going to take 330 away from both sides, and that's going to leave me with excuse me, with a negative 2x on one side, and then 180 plus a negative 330 is going to get me negative 150. Okay, divide both sides here by a negative 2, and we end up with x is equal to 75. Okay. Now the last thing that we need to do is put 75 back into these two equations here. So angle 1 is 160 minus 75, or 85 degrees. Angle 2 is 170 minus 75, or 95 degrees. Okay. So kind of a whole bunch of different steps here to arrive at the correct answers. Just make sure you're sticking with them and writing down all your work. That'll help you avoid getting mixed up. If you have any questions, come out and see me tomorrow morning. Also, do not forget about taking that pretest tonight. You can find the Unit 4 pretest on my webpage. Thanks for listening.